So here's the thing. Outlander on Starsha strangely skipped over a pretty juicy plot twist from the books. But Season 8 might finally be the right man to bring it into the spotlight, since this is going to be the last season of the whole Romanti saga. There ain't a lot of time left to tie up all loose threads in Jaime and Claire's long tangled story. Still, Season 8 seems to have all the right elements lined up to squeeze in one more intriguing subplot that fans of the books have been hoping for. One of the coolest bits of news about Season 8 is thought Caesar Donboy and Lauren Lyall Ariophosly coming back as Fergus and Markelly Fraser. These two haven't popped up on screen in quite a while, so having them return feels like catching up with old friends. What exactly their turn means for the larger story is still a mystery. But you can't help but think it opens the door for Outlander to finally tackle that huge twist about Fergus. See, in Diana Gabaldon's books, it eventually comes out that Fergus' biological father is none other than Count Saint Germain. Yeah, the same Giwo tried to kill Claire back in Season 2 to pile on the drama. Fergus's Matharis believed to be Amalie Bosch, who just might, though it's never fully confirmed, be related to Claire's family. That would make Fergus tied to Claire by blood and tangled up with the whole time travel business in a way nobody expected. Gabaldon's books haven't completely unpacked what this revelation really means for Fergus. However, one offers spin-off novellas, called The Space Between, does confirm that Colt St. Germain is actually a time traveler. The fact that Fergus's dad shares these our gift with Claire, and that his Matharis potentially a BCH, can't be just some random coincidence. Even so, the Outlander series has pretty much ignored all of this so far. Season 8 feels like it's setting up to change that. They even dropped some clever hints in Season 7 when they brought in Perciba Champ, when the book shows up Tosnef. Around on behalf of Colt St. Germain, Percy was introduced as an old friend of Lord Jay's, and although hadn't bring up Count or Fergus on the show, it kind of feels like unfinished bestness. Now, with Fergus and Markella Finley back, all the pieces are there for this secret to finally come out. When you look back at Season 7, it's sort of weird that this didn't happen sooner. According to how the books line up with the series, the reveal about Fergus's father should have been teased when Percy made his entrance. But that man just slipped by with no mention of K. St. Germain or any big revelations about Fergus. A lot of that probably comes down to timing. Domboy and Lyall had already stepped away from the show at that point. But since they're returning now, Season 8 seems like the perfect shot to dig into this mystery. Adding to all this, Season 7 already laid the groundwork by reintroducing the idea of time travelers in unexpected lists. Remember the Faith Fraser twist on? Master Raymond popping back into Thestry? That was a big signal that the show plans to explore more of its mending magic. Plus, there's the neutral actor, Captain Richardson, who was revealed to secretly be from the future. It all feels like Outlander is getting ready to weave these threads together. And learning the truth about Fergus Weld slot right into that bigger picture. There's also another massive question from way back at the very start of Outlander that still needs an answer. What exactly was up with Jaime's ghost-watching Claire in the 20th century? Leash has been dangling over fans' heads since his first book dropped all the way back in 1991. Over 3 decades ago, and it's never been properly explained. The books still aren't done with Gabaldon planning to wrap things up in a 10th and final volume that should, fingers crossed, deliver the answers. But the TV show is ending first, with Season 8 expected to air sometime near the end of 2025. So it's under pressure to give us some kind of resolution. Both Gabaldon, the show's creator, Matthew B. Roberts, have made it clear that the endings of the books and the show will be different. Still, they've teased that we'll get to find out about James Host in Season 8, which sounds sexing, but also nerve-wracking. There's always that fear the truth will end up. It's being underwhelming after all these years of build-up. So what could this show actually do with Jaime's ghost? One of the simpler explanations would lean on something already established in both the books and the series. That even though Jaime can't physically time travel, his mind or spirit sort of can when he's asleep. Jaime's consciousness managed to reach across time. Remember how Jimmy and Mandy Mackenzie actually saw him in the 20th century? It's like he's able to project himself while dreaming, because of that. It wouldn't be all that shocking if Season 8 went the straightforward route and just showed Jaime waking up from a dream, saying he saw Claire through a window before being interrupted by Frank Randall. That would technically solve the ghost mystery. But honestly, if that's the payoff, it might feel like a bit of a letdown. This question has haunted the series for more than 30 years. Fans probably want something with more depth, something that feels grand and poetic and ties the whole saga together. The early days of Outlander had such a strong sense of magic and eerie destiny, especially around James Host. It was this haunting idea that Claire was ripped away from Frank and pulled back in time by a ghostly Scotsman she hadn't even met yet. Over years, that vibe has faded some. Frank is gone. Brianna and Roger have started digging into the science behind Standing Stones. Jaime and Claire's epic love story has become more about their day-to-day struggles than mystical forces. But wouldn't it be beautiful if the final season circled back to that original, mysterious atmosphere? Jaime's ghost also suggests inevitable tragedy. From the start, we've been made to feel like Thessalovers are doomed to be torn apart by Time's star, crossed in the truest sense. As painful as it would be, Season 8 needs to lean into that tragic, desperate feeling instead of shying away. It's what gives the story its deep emotional punch. The upcoming books might give the show a perfect moment to do this. Jaime is supposed to face another death at the Battle of King's Mountain, and Claire ends up using her skills to bring him back. Imagine if during those tense moments, Jaime's soul found its way to Claire in the future. That would bring all the tragic romance and the time-crossed magic full circle. Even if the show doesn't go exactly that way, it really can't afford to play it safe or simple with this. It needs to deliver something big and moving, something worthy of wrapping up decades off storytelling. All in all, there's a bunch of unfinished business that Outlander Season 8 has the chance to finally tackle, whether it's the Mr. U, Fergus's true parentage, or the ghost off Jaime haunting CLA's timeline. Because after everything the Secker actors and fans have been through, it'd be a real shame if the show's last chapter settled for easy answers. Wouldn't. That heart-wrenching, magical, destiny-driven finale that reminds us why I fell for this story in the first place. And with all the pieces finale in place, it sure looks like Outlander might be ready to deliver exactly that.